What if I told you that when you eat might matter just as much as what you eat for your Crohn's symptoms? And there's brand new research from 2026 that's making gastroenterologists take notice. Hi, I'm Kate, and today we're talking about time restricted eating for Crohn's disease. Now, this matters right now because you've probably spent years figuring out what to eat and what to avoid, but almost nobody's talking about whether the timing of your meals could be shifting your inflammation levels and symptom patterns. Here's what I see all the time. Someone comes to me with an exhausted list of foods they can and can't eat. They're tracking every ingredient. They've got their safe meals dialed in and they're still having breakthrough symptoms they can't explain. My son went through this too. We had his diet so carefully managed, but he'd still get those random flares that didn't match anything he'd eaten. It was maddening. And here's the thing. When I ask people about their eating schedule, I get a blank look like, what do you mean? I just eat when I'm hungry. Which often means grazing from 7 a.m. until 10 p.m., never giving their gut a proper break. Nobody has ever told them that the pattern might matter as much as the content. So let's reframe this, because there's a lot of confusion out there. Time restricted eating isn't intermittent fasting. It's not about skipping meals or going hungry. It's not another diet restriction. What it actually is eating your normal food within a consistent daily window, usually 8 to 12 hours, and then giving your digestive system a proper overnight rest. Here's what the new 2026 research is showing: your gut has its own internal clock. Just like your brain does, your digestive enzymes, your gut barrier function, your immune responses in the intestinal wall, they all operate on circadian rhythms. They're designed to work best during certain hours and rest during others. When you eat constantly throughout the day and late into the night, you're essentially asking your gut to work a 24-hour shift. And if you've got Crohn's, your gut's already working overtime just trying to manage inflammation. You're never giving it a chance to do repair work. The research is finding that people with IBD who eat with a consistent window, even without changing what they eat, often see improvements in inflammation markers, sleep quality, and symptom patterns. Now that's worth paying attention to. All right, here's how to test whether meal timing matters for your body without turning this into another rigid rule that stresses you out. So, firstly, track your current pattern. Before you change anything, just notice what you're doing now, just for 1 week. Write down the time of your first bite of food each day, not just breakfast, but that handful of crackers at 6 a.m., that coffee with milk at 7, whatever it is. Then write down the time of your last bite, that late snack, that evening tea with honey, all of it. Calculate your eating window. If you start at 7 and finish at 9, that's a 14-hour window. Also note how your symptoms during this week. What's your energy like, your sleep, your morning bathroom patterns? You need this baseline, otherwise you won't know if timing changes are actually helping. Next, choose a realistic window to test. Don't jump straight to an 8-hour window if you're currently eating across 15 hours. That's too much, too fast, especially with Crohn's. Start with a 12-hour window. For most people, that looks like eating between 8 and 8 or 7 and 7. You're still getting 3 meals and snacks if you need them. You're just creating a consistent overnight fast. Here's what worked for my son when we tested. We started with 7 a.m. to 7:30. He still had breakfast, lunch, afternoon snack and dinner. Nothing felt restricted. We just stopped the late night stacking that was honestly more habit than hunger. Pick a window that fits your life. If you're a shift worker or if you have young kids, if you take medications with food at specific times, factor that in. This has to be sustainable or it won't tell you anything. Now test it consistently for 2 weeks. 2 weeks, that's your trial period. During these 2 weeks, eat your normal safe foods. Don't change your diet at the same time because how will you know what's helping? And shift when you eat. Keep tracking the same things: symptom patterns, energy, sleep, morning bathroom routine, but also track how you feel about the schedule. Is it stressful, easy? Are you genuinely hungry outside the window or just used to eating then? Here's what to watch for specifically with Crohn's. Are you having fewer nighttime symptoms or better sleep? Is your morning bathroom pattern more predictable? Do you feel less bloated overall? Are you noticing more stable energy during the day? My husband, who's been flare free for 20 years now, swears by this eating window. He eats between 9 and 7, and he says his gut just works better with that rhythm. But it took him 2 full weeks to notice the pattern. The first few days he just felt different. Not better or worse, just different. Next, adjust based on what your body tells you. After 2 weeks, you'll have real data about your response. If you're feeling better, more stable symptoms, better sleep, more energy, you might want to keep going or even try narrowing the window slightly to 10 or 11 hours. See if that helps more. If you're feeling worse, more stressed, more symptoms, harder to get adequate nutrition, then this timing pattern might not be right for you right now. And that's valuable information too. Some people with Crohn's do better with smaller, more frequent meals spread across a longer window. Some people do better with larger meals in a shorter window. There's no one size fits all here. We know it's Crohn's disease. What matters is that you're testing it systematically so you actually know instead of just guessing. Next, consider your disease state and medications. This is important. Time-restricted eating isn't appropriate for everyone with Crohn's in every situation. If you're in an active flare and struggling to get enough calories, this is not the time to restrict your eating window. You need to eat whenever you can tolerate food. If you're on medications that need to be taken with food multiple times a day, work with your doctor or pharmacist to figure out if a restricted eating window is even feasible. If you're underweight or at risk of malnutrition, your priority is getting adequate nutrition, period. The timing is secondary. Time-restricted eating is a tool for people who are relatively stable and looking for ways to optimize their gut function. It's not a replacement for medical treatment, and it's not appropriate during acute illness. Again, always run this past your gastroenterologist, especially if you're on multiple medications or have other health conditions beyond Crohn's. So here's where you end up if you test this properly. You'll actually know whether meal timing makes a difference for your body. You won't be wondering or reading conflicting things online and feeling confused. You'll have your own data. And if it does help, if you find that eating within a consistent window gives your gut that repair time it needs, improves your sleep, makes your symptoms more predictable, you've just found another lever you can pull that doesn't require cutting out more foods or adding more supplements. And that's powerful because with Crohn's, we need every tool we can get. But we need tools that actually work for us, not just tools that work in studies or for other people. Your body gets a vote. This is how you let it tell you what it needs. Now, if this helped you understand how to test meal timing for your Crohn's, share it with someone who's still trying to figure out their symptom pattern. And if you want more personalized guidance on nutrition timing, gut health optimization, and building a sustainable management plan for your Crohn's, not a generic protocol, that's exactly what I do in my one-on-one coaching and in the Crohn's Method community. I'll see you in the next video and have a beautiful day.